Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for the invite. It's always a pleasure talking about our struggles.
Yes. I thought that we would jump into it a little bit and hear a little bit about yourself and how you got into the publishing industry.
So, as you said, Joseph Mizzi, I represent one of the historic publishing houses in Malta with over 53 years of experience. First book published 1971, idea started 1969. Obviously, I'm the second generation of this publishing house, and we've now, I think, contributed to the nation over 2,000 titles, new books for our bibliography. Obviously, being born in a book lover's den, it's natural for me to fall into that realm. Right? So that's why I found myself during my teens and adolescence. I tried to run away from books, to be honest. And the furthest I ran, the closer I became. So it's quite a bit of a paradox. And then all of a sudden, after my university years, and doing a thesis on Maltese books.
You really didn't avoid
it. In 1996, I decided to go back into the publishing house with a bit of more dynamism. I tried to. So we started also doing the art books, the bigger books, more than the academic smaller books. So that's where I came in.
So take us a little bit to what does being a publisher mean, and so to a general audience, like how would you place yourself in their mind?
You can't be a publisher if you don't like books. One.
Yes.
And when you like books, you think from your heart rather than from your pocket. So you go into a publishing venture because you love it, not because you think you're going to make money. You can't make money from books. And I'm saying this with all my experience. I'm a normal human being. I live in a normal house. You really can't make money. I mean, it's not like any other business where profit is the real driving force.
Yes.
For us, it's the new title which is your driving. Your next project is the driving force. Your love for it. At the end, it's also love for the country, because when you do books from literature, but especially when you do books on history and various topics, sometimes it's micro history rather than macro history. You do it because there's something to say, and because you love to share it with others. So that's why you do it. It's the curiosity of finding something new. I believe when my father started, he said, "We'll just say the history of Malta to the general public. We'll just bring it out of university and disseminate it to a general audience." And then he started realizing, my God, this country, what it has to offer. Yes. And we started going into the micro part of the history. So it's mind-boggling.
It sounds very much like a vocation. Really.
More than anything else, it's a
like
vocation.
Devotion, passion for the...
Yes, as a matter of fact, my son is not interested in my work. So you know, it's something which is born in you, and it just grows.
And you were involved from a very young age, so obviously you were exposed to the ins and outs of the industry. So how do you think it differs from other industries, as in the publishing industry?
Our product is at the end, it's a product. But it's not a can of peas. It's not. It's not a table. It's not a
consumable.
It's hard to picture it as a product. To be honest,
unfortunately, nowadays a book is considered as a commodity.
I see. Yes.
You know, it is something you will go for if you have extra money.
Yeah.
You know, and these are trends which have changed. Even a simple novel, which costs in the region of 15, 20 euros. You'll buy it after you pay for your mobile contract, after you pay for your SIM card, or you know, if you have enough money, you'll go for it.
Yeah.
And this is the unfortunate thing about our industry.
So it's almost a luxury at this point.
It's considered as a luxury. We were also talking, I mean, if you see the demographics, our houses, the Maltese houses shrunk. The Maltese population shrunk. But our houses shrunk even more.
So has our shelving as a result?
Exactly.
If at all.
If at all.
If at all.
So are you saying that some households do not even have shelving to accommodate books?
No. I believe there are houses in Malta or apartments that don't have a book. Especially if they don't have children.
As bookworms, well, the three of us are bookworms.
I'm pretty sure. And also what we're realizing from social media, but also from other platforms, is the number of old books, second-hand books, being offered is the result of huge collections, private collections, of people who have passed away, and their children are not interested in keeping those books. And they're selling them to third parties themselves, garage boot sales, you know. So it's because they don't have a place for them.
That's right. So sad. I need a moment to recover from this. So I guess this is one of the negative things you've observed.
Yes, there's a big
over the past few
change.
years. It's a mentality shift.
It's a mentality shift. I mean,
change of perception completely.
I mean, we consider books. We still, as a nation, as Maltese, we still consider books as a means to pass your exams.
Yes.
To further your enrichment monetary, not your enrichment mentally.
Intellectual, social, emotional, exactly.
You know, I mean, and this hurts. I mean, I walk in Valletta. Where is the bookshop?
It's true. It's true.
I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, yes. I mean,
recently, right?
I mean,
you shared a post.
Yes, I shared the post. My heart aches.
Yes,
I know. I mean, during my childhood and growing up, there were at least 6-7 bookshops in Valletta. There are none left. None.
It was a norm for me to go for a walk and stop at the bookshop.
And you browse and you take the experience. Fine, they were not modern bookshops.
They had a decent offering nonetheless.
But they had a decent offering, and every bookshop had its specifics.
Exactly.
Sapienza, I can mention them because we're not doing an advert. Sapienza had the new titles. Herity had the more serious titles. Floridia down the street had had the bargain books, the big books.
Yes,
you know, I mean, Aquilina used to specialize in textbooks, in Maltese textbooks. Cordina had the religious books. I mean, these are all gone.
So you knew what to find
exactly. I mean,
depending on the place.
These are all gone. And also, the less bookshops there are, the less scope for people like me and businesses like me there is.
Yes.
Because online does not substitute.
No.
You need to browse a book, you need to go into a shop and fall in love with. You know? I mean,
there's a tactile
there's a relationship with a book.
Which we're missing out.
You know? Yes. And we're missing. Online you go for your title and that's it. You buy it and you expect it the next day.
You need it, exactly.
Yes. You know, but otherwise it's not the same.
Working in publishing myself, I'm experiencing that as well.
Yes.
So the online store.
It works, but it's not. It does not substitute
a
bookshop.
It's more functional.
Exactly.
I mean, then obviously I look forward to physical events like the book festival.
Exactly.
I mean, where you can actually engage with interested buyers. You know, people who are genuinely invested in publications, and it's such a joy to watch them. You know, leaf through books and ask interesting questions. You know, I appreciate that. I mean, it's a lot of hard work setting up for the festival, as you can vouch for it. You can vouch for it yourself, but it does pay off in that regard.
Definitely.
Bookshops feed curiosity, you know. You go in and what's this? You look at the cover, you look at the blurb.
They've left a huge gap.
Exactly. So there's a big gap. We are an island without bookshops.
That is one of the main struggles, I would
say.
Then.
Exactly. Even the village newspaper agent or outlets, they don't sell books anymore.
They don't.
They hardly sell newspapers anymore.
But selling books as well. I mean, but
it's marginal.
It's marginal. It's marginal. So that's definitely one of the main struggles.
Yes, definitely.
I guess it's safe to say.
Definitely. No. It's what we call book penetration. So there's none.
Book penetration.
Yes, book market penetration.
Have you
That's
noticed any
interesting.
positive changes, at least in the industry? I'm like very hopeful.
Yes, okay. There are improvements.
Yes.
I mean, as publishers, we have stepped up to the industry. And when I said stepped up, we have invested greatly in our productions. I mean, we have, as I said, over 50 years of experience. If you see our first book, or if I do something even worse, if I see the first book I ever produced, me, as Joseph Mizzi, and the last book I produced, there is, I mean, I'm shy to say which is my first book because it was
But you
really,
have to start from somewhere.
it was really bad as production. I mean, so we have stepped up in production. Our productions, and I'm not saying mine, I'm talking in general, so have really improved.
Yes.
But this has not been reflected in the market. So we have improved, we have invested, most of the time from our own pockets.
But the return isn't.
But the return isn't there.
And reducing.
And reducing. You know, I mean, it's really a desperate situation. It's an existentialist situation.
Wow. It does sound like a crisis.
Yes, and unfortunately, I have to add, unfortunately, and I'm not saying anything about the people who run it, the National Book Council is not aware, is almost oblivious to these struggles and issues. You know? And it's our only forum where we can talk.
In fact,
and they try and shut up.
We enjoyed the strategy meeting that we attended, all three of us attended last time.
Yes. It was a breath of fresh air, but nothing happened.
Much needed opportunity, but there wasn't any real clear
I mean,
follow-up.
this is also something like if you walk into a hospital with a broken hand and a heart attack, which do you address first? The broken hand or the heart attack? Unfortunately, the Book Council is addressing the broken hand.
It's because it's a quick fix, I guess.
No,
Yes,
it's
but
the opposite. It's
but
the
at the end of the day, if you
long-term
want to
thing,
fix
we
the
need a
hand
quick
and
fix.
your patient dies,
True.
so it's
True.
so you have to address the heart attack
Of
first,
course.
before going into the broken hand,
That's right.
because it's life threatening, and
There's
this is
a
what
sense of,
this is what we are facing.
the priorities aren't quite right.
Yes, this is the biggest issue.
Biggest issue. Yeah.
So, in a way, we have this situation where the readers are only reading based on curriculum, right? Because realistically, they're stuck to, all right, school, curriculum, and then that's it. So,
But even here, even here, and when I say here, I'm also saying university. We have a big issue.
Yes.
Because students at university level, they would ask the lecturer, stroke teacher, and I'm emphasizing on the teacher, which chapter do we need from this book? Can I photocopy it? Can I download it? And they don't even go for the book.
No.
They go for
Bare
a
minimum
copy
approach.
of that chapter,
Bare minimum approach, yes.
which is unfortunate.
It is.
I cannot sell the chapter, I have to sell the book. If I don't sell the book, I will not do another one.
that's the reality of it. You
Yes.
won't do another
I
one.
won't do another one.
And we
This-
would be losing out on
On a lot-
whatever that other one would have
Exactly,
been.
exactly.
In fact, speaking from an academic publishing position, which is my position, I encounter that. You know,
Yes.
I mean, I've experienced that attitude.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, you know, it's affecting sales of academic publications as well. I mean, I'm not saying that set of publications are sought after by researchers and by lecturers, but by students. Unfortunately, it remains a challenge.
Yes.
It remains a challenge.
So, do you think there are any ways we can connect to the local community, something like to reach out?
To reach out, we have to first understand the problem. We have to also accept the problem. Unless you realize there's a problem, you're not going to find solutions. And it's useless for me as a publisher saying there's a problem, unless the authorities realize that there is a problem. Because the solution has to come not from me, because I keep on publishing.
Yes.
But from a strategy point of view, from an institutional point of view.
Yes.
If we're not going to address this crisis, I mean, we have a big issue. When we talk to the council, they don't accept that there are problems and that there is a crisis. If we are on the same page, we will address it together. But unless we're going to be on the same page, we're not going to address the issue.
That's right.
It
We have to
feels
join
like it's
forces.
even bigger though than the council. It feels like it's a
Like a nationwide.
It's
nationwide
a
issue.
nationwide. I mean, I am also one who also says that we are under the wrong ministry as a council. Books should not be under education. Books are part of our culture.
Culture. Exactly.
I mean, so if I mean, this we have to make a paradigm shift from looking at books as a means of education to a means of enrichment, of mental enrichment, and that's culture.
Yes.
Because if the publishing industry dies, what's going to happen? You're not going to have anyone documenting anything. You'll have the odd book here and there, but you're not going to have a whole spectrum of books, for sure.
Do you have any ideas on how we can rekindle like passion for reading, you know, like how can we go about doing so, like inspiring, like sowing the seed?
Well, we have to start from the very young ones.
From the very young ones.
Addressing the families,
Yes.
showing them the needs, because there are families who are really inducing their children not to read books because they can make better money by not wasting time reading.
So
What
it's
a horrible thought.
perceived as a waste of time.
Yes, yes.
Quote.
If you see the ways people are doing money today, and we were discussing it as well before we start, people, young ones, the very young ones, those who we really need for our market, are making money through social platforms, influencers. We also have a huge market which is not being tapped, unfortunately. A lot of Maltese are on fans only, and our people, young ones, are making a lot of money out of that. A lot of money, more than the influencers.
Wow.
So,
Only fans, more than the influencers. Okay.
right? Why should you buy a book to enrich your mind when you can, you know?
How about setting up onlybooks.com?
Yes. So, but these are the facts.
And using influencers
Yes.
to, you know, spread the love.
Yes. Influencers try,
We
but
should sign them up.
yes, we do sign up.
You do?
We do sign up a number of influencers, but obviously the prices they ask
Yes, of course.
is a bit too hefty for us. If we have the budget for it, perhaps yes.
Fair
and this is
enough.
where government has to
But we can't really
come in.
splurge, can we, on
Yes,
these things?
yes.
I mean, we need support.
Yes, because also you have an influencer, which you can't stop because it's her business to do so. You have influencers who one day will talk about a book, but the next thing they'll talk about makeup.
So it's going to undermine the,
It's going to undermine
value of the subject.
You know, it's a bit of a give and take. But this is where we need to really understand the dynamics of social media through influencers and other people. This is where we need. I mean, I can't with my resources. What do? Shall I spend my money on influencers, or shall I spend my money on doing the next book?
That's it. You need to choose what to channel your
Yeah.
energy and resources.
I mean, most of the local publishers, we're talking about family-run concerns with 2 or 3 people.
Small team.
They're a small team.
Very small.
And none of us can afford to add an extra employee or make an extra expense somewhere else.
Especially at this point.
Especially at this point. So,
That's
sorry.
right.
It doesn't look.
It's the reality.
But it's the reality.
And that's why we're here. We're here to discuss the reality
Yes.
of the situation and see how, you know, how we can possibly improve the situation, explore different ideas.
Oh goodness. Is this situation abroad as well? Do you feel this happening internationally, or do you feel it's just a local problem?
No. There is a trend, a downward trend in books. When I say worldwide, what we understand worldwide is not just the Anglophonic world, but also in Italy and France. But we have a totally unique situation. One, our recent demographics. We have an island which is 2/3 Maltese, 1/3 foreigners. So that is already. We have also a brain drain. I believe statistics of the last 2 weeks was 21,000 young people left Malta.
21,000.
Yes.
Left Malta.
Left Malta to find greener pastures abroad.
Oh wow.
So that's a brain drain.
That is a massive range.
So that also is leaving.
I wasn't even aware of that.
That's also leaving the mediocre in Malta. So it's I'm sorry. I mean, I'm here.
Thanks,
I'm here as well. So I mean,
welcome to the mediocre club.
apart from that, our unique market is that it is the only market, let's say in the European Union, right, where we have most of the big book market, where our market is shared with the English language market. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Italy don't have that reality. Mm-hmm. France don't have that reality. Germany don't have that reality. The bookshops or the market is almost wholly for the language, that language. In Italy, if you go to bookshops or online platform, you'll find only Italian books. Mm-hmm. In France, the same. In Germany, the same.
I was in France recently.
In France, the same. In France, the same. In Malta, we have this influx or import of foreign books, of English-speaking books. And that is at the detriment of our market, the Maltese one. I'm not saying you don't import them, but it's a reality we also have to deal with. When the numbers were fine 20 years ago, because the crisis started about 11, 12 years ago. When the numbers were fine, I mean, we were never great readers, but the numbers made sense. It was fine. But when the numbers don't start making sense, and you have people that when they come to choose a book from a local outlet, and they have to choose between a Maltese and an imported book. And they most probably go for the imported books because the marketing on social.
They recognize the name.
You know, the marketing is much stronger. I wouldn't say better. It's stronger. Mm-hmm. I mean, an imported book most probably would because they don't advertise for Malta, but the adverts come in. It's 4 or 5 times as much. Mm. Yeah. So so we have this competition, which is really unfair on our market.
Definitely.
Yeah. And obviously, when you walk into I'm not talking even about the bargain books or the book dumping. That's something totally different. Yeah. I'm talking for a full price book with a full price book. Mm. If you walk into a shop and that sells books, and you choose between a Maltese book or a foreign book, 99% you'll find even those 2/3 of the local population going for an English-speaking book, an imported English one. Mm-hmm. So that's also, I mean, that is also our uniqueness. So
exactly.
So our crisis is even.
It's a singular trait, which is also.
So our crisis and downtrend is even accelerated because of this reality. Mm-hmm. You know, so.
And it's not a shared reality. It's quite specific.
It's quite specific. It's quite specific because Italy don't have it. Germany don't have it. No. France definitely don't have it.
I was amazed the bookshops in France. Yes. I mean, I had forgotten what a queue in a bookshop looks like. Yes. I couldn't believe
it's
my
also
eyes.
because government helps the literary and the book market.
You can see they're supported.
Yeah, in a great way.
You can feel it. And there's quality all around.
Yes.
How depressing.
I'm still kind of like mulling over it, I know. So, we've taken a look at the international scene this way, I guess.
Yes.
So
it is incredible, though, like to think about that this is mainly a national issue, as in this specific, these problems are mainly a national issue.
They've accelerated now. Mm. They were always there. The duplicity of the market was always there. All right? The numbers didn't help. The numbers now don't help.
No.
There are other factors which were there. The postage. We can't export Maltese books because of the postage rates. They're too much. You know, trying to break the foreign market is very difficult. Mm. You know? But coupled with that, we have new ones. Some also created by the Book Council, exporting Maltese literature, right?
There are the fairs, right? There are international fairs.
You know, and we always ask, are the efforts
paying off or not?
And the money being spent in exporting affecting the local market in the sense, is it growing because of their efforts? Or is it remaining the same, or we're still decreasing?
Exactly.
My experience is it's doing nothing.
I see.
If not negatively affecting.
Wow, it can be counterproductive then. Okay.
Yes, I mean, so yeah. I mean, just to give an example, and I'm going to use it. We have one of the local authors who the council helped to find a publisher in Italy. I say helped, not only helped in sourcing it, but helped also funding it. And a publisher in Italy was found. Fine. Book was eventually published this year in Italy, but the launch is going to be in Malta.
Okay.
Doesn't-
Launch in Malta.
Doesn't make sense.
No.
Doesn't make sense.
Launch in Malta.
It should be launched in Italy. If you're trying to
Targeting that audience.
if you're targeting that, it's going to be launched during the book festival. Makes no sense.
I mean, they could have.
Where still
but
that I am the publisher of the Maltese, I'm not even invited.
What?
I'm not even aware of it. I got to know it only through the press.
Lallo.
So what is the book council doing for me as a publisher? Nothing. As at worst, working against me.
If they're, I mean, this doesn't exactly work.
It's a disaster. It's a disaster.
How
Doesn't-
convoluted.
It is very complex.
Yes.
It is.
So it's.
I hope we manage to work around these situations. I mean, I wouldn't. Looking at the next five years, as in, what are your hopes? And
It's far away.
It's far away.
It's far away.
It's far. I hope I'll be around.
I really
Of
hope.
course.
So.
No, I hope I'll be around. I mean,
I
it's
hope so.
and I'm not talking because I'm big-headed.
Because you're aware of the reality.
Because
You're
I'm
very much
aware.
in touch of-
I'm aware of the reality. I mean, it's.
We'll buy the books.
We'll
We'll,
buy
we'll buy
them.
the stuff. You're fine. You'll be fine.
How many titles? Thousands of titles.
You know, I mean, at the moment, our backlist, I think, numbers 620 different titles. You know, it's huge.
It's huge.
Managing it
Massive.
is already a headache.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, and
Let's hope. Let's be a bit optimistic
Yes.
and look at the next 5 years. As in, where do you see the publishing industry then?
I mean, from a production point of view, I think we will still move along with new trends and
For sure.
for sure. Both in production and I believe also in the level of writing.
And the level, yes. We
Yes.
will always.
I don't
keep
think there are
Exactly.
issues in there.
Exactly.
But we need the extra impetus. We need the market.
Definitely.
If the market is not going to be there, it's going to affect our productivity and it's going to affect us at the end of the day. Yeah?
Yes.
This is what I said during the strategy meeting where you were present.
Yes.
When I said there are publishers who will not make it in the next 6 months, let alone 5 years.
5 years.
You know? So let's try and find a solution for the patient that's suffering from a heart attack rather from a fractured
that's it.
hand.
Yes.
You know?
So, would you
In the next
encourage any publishers any new publishers to pick this up?
Look, the new generation, and you are part of it, you are not stupid people. You love books, but you don't go in it just blindfoldedly. If there is no scope in at least having a return, you will not go into it. The strength of a market is shown by the number of competitors. At the moment, everybody wants to be either real estate or a construction company. Why? Because that's where the money is. I mean, or a supermarket. Nobody wants to be a publisher.
Not really, no.
And what does that tell you? That tells you because money is there and not there. I mean, I welcome new publishers. They're competition, fine, but I
Yes,
welcome them.
but you welcome them.
But that means if you have new competition, that means the market is healthy.
Yes, because they're always picking a new niche in the market. They're
Exactly.
always drawing in
Exactly.
new people.
Yes.
So
Yes, I mean, so I have no issues with new people coming in,
Healthy competition or shmela?
but they're not coming.
No.
and even beyond publishers, we have writers, illustrators, and
Editors.
editors like
Editors,
us. You
yes.
know, like
Proofreaders.
there's no scope for
There's
it.
there's no scope. I mean, when I said we are just, even employee-wise, we are just a couple of people, handful of people. But then, I mean, we have a satellite of people who work around us. I mean, apart from the printers, we have editors, we have illustrators, we have proofreaders. I mean, and these depend on our work, on our core work, to generate their income as well.
Of course.
It's a whole kind of like
It's an industry.
network.
It's a microcosm of,
Microcosm.
and nobody's realizing that
No,
that this is
it's
part.
all connected.
Apart from the fact that literature and books document a moment in time, even a novel documents a moment in time, not just a history book, because they show you how people think at that time.
It's a time capsule.
It's a time capsule. If all of a sudden everything stops, we have nothing to give to our future generation. Definitely not the buildings.
Definitely not. I mean, they don't qualify as part of our heritage.
Exactly. So,
cultural heritage.
Yes.
They don't.
So I welcome you people who are really interested, and I have 3 or 4
throughout the past
years
that you've been in the industry.
No.
I'm sure you've supported.
We've supported a lot.
Writers and editors.
Yes, and we have a number of publishers now that came out of Midsea Books.
But we have to make a conscious effort to preserve it and build on it.
Yes, I feel like a dinosaur.
I feel very responsible now.
I feel like a dinosaur. I'm just waiting for the comet to hit. That's it. But I have to be realistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should not be a dying art, though.
It's not. It should not. It should be one of the most flourishing one.
Yes.
Where you have the new coming in with the old and
passing down information, collaboration.
I mean, I take myself back at times to 53, 54 years ago when our publishing. When we started off in 69, 70, we had, everybody was saying, Maltese books weren't published. And it's true, because only, I believe, records count for about four titles a year, more or less, at that time. But there were a crop of old authors. When I say a crop of old authors, there was José Aquilina, José Gallia, José Casal Pulicino,
lots of Josés.
José Ketkuti. Yes, there were a lot.
Yes.
No? Those that are now considered as the great
grandfathers
of
Maltese
Maltese
literature.
Exactly. But there was also a crop of young ones. Oliver Friggeri, Traversara, Joe Friggeri, Franz Ammut, Mario Azzopardi, Peter Serracino. These were all young ones.
Yes.
These young at the time. I mean, I remember Oliver Friggeri at 20 years old.
But you must have been quite young yourself.
Yes, I was a toddler.
Tiny.
Yes, I was a toddler, a 7-year-old. But I remember. But I remember these authors. I mean, and we're talking about at least a crop of between the old ones and the new ones of 50 years ago of at least 20, 30 authors. Who are the authors of today? A handful. Once again, a handful. That says a lot about what's happening to the market and our literary world. There are a lot of writers, but either one-off, but no one beaming. I mean,
yes,
only a few. I wouldn't say no one. But it's only a handful that are. When you had 50 years ago, so many people who left a mark on our literature. It really doesn't. It's not telling. So we've moved in 2 generations of Maltese development, of Maltese political development, of Maltese mental development, of non-wars. So you don't have like what happened to my father's generation, where they grew up during wars in shelters and things like that. So we had practically 2 generations of peaceful coexistence with education on the rise all the time. But you have less people who want to read, less people who are capable of reading, and very few people who are capable of writing. And that also affects my business.
It affects us all. Yes. In one way or another. Yeah. That's the thing. That's what we have to
realize. It's sad. But these are all pointers.
Sad but true. Any more comments you'd like to add?
Anything else?
I mean,
like a positive message for us to,
yes, with my post last week on the Sapienza book, I said the future is bright.
You said the future is bright.
Yes. So I'd rather.
What is it now? A cupcake shop?
It's a cupcake shop.
Wow.
And yesterday I realized that Aguilina is turning into a cake shop.
What?
Yep.
That's all we need, more cakes.
Yes, exactly. So another coffee shop, another eatery in Valletta. So I mean, the impression we're giving to the thousands of tourists, to the hordes of tourists that flock Valletta, is that we really love cakes, we love our tummy, but not our mind.
Not our mind. Yeah.
So, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this opportunity. Unfortunately, there are very few things which I can say are positive, but
that's
the reality. That's why I'm here. I'm here trying to focus the attention of you and the authorities on the dire situation of publishing in Malta.
That's it.
Yes.
That has to be addressed.
Yes. The conversation has to continue.
Yes. Yeah.
It's only just started.
And it's not just me, because if it was just me and my company, I would say fine.
No.
But it's the industry
It's a
that's
collective reality.
I mean, if you talk to BDL, you're going, which I believe you're going,
Yes.
but not just BDL. There are Horizons and Maryland.
Yes.
You know, there are realities. I mean, Maryland that does a lot of textbooks have a huge problem in schools.
With textbooks.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes, because school children now, the demographics have changed. You have more English speaking because of than Maltese.
The Maltese.
And they specialize in Maltese textbooks.
Yes.
So what's going to happen?
That's it. Another question to
Yep.
answer another time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes. Thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure. Still, it is a pleasure, obviously, to speak with you. Although we're not going to end it on any positive note, we're going to keep it in.
Yes, let's keep the conversation going. That's the positive
This was
note.
only the beginning.
To continue from here.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to seeing you at the book festival.
Yeah, definitely. I'm there. Thank you so much.